get in meditation and leave your body, allow your spirit to drift to heaven and go and speak with angels and with God and other beings there. Through that experience, I started opening up to other people who were saying it's not just God there. It's not just heaven. Heaven isn't the only realm you can go into. There's many other realms. And through exploring that, I realized that my version of God was so much smaller than what I was learning was the truth for myself. And there's so much stuff to explore. This is probably one of the places I frequent a lot. It's called the Lemurian Library. It's like a warehouse or Area 51 where there's just all of these mystical collectible items all over this library. I also went to the Bashar ship, and I can't wait to see what kind of experiences we're going to have with that, being able to share more of that on Bell Rock. So I remember there being a room where we lay down on these beds of gold, and then your body just sunk into it like memory foam. And they were doing some energy healing on me. The other room that I remember, instead of like the stars being white, everything was like a purple glow or a bluish glow. You can look at different astrology signs and understand your sign and understand why it's that. There was just like a little playground.
Welcome everyone to Soul Communication. I'm excited to continue talking today about Sedona and our upcoming retreat, April 11th through April 15th in the magical lands of Arizona. Bell Rock is one of the most potent vortexes there, as we learned in last episodes from York Wang when he channeled the Sasani Collective. It is interdimensional portal. In the last episode from Chris Noble, we learned how we're gonna play music there and connect to the frequencies, the sound healing, and have incredible experience of dancing, Kundalini activation, breath work, meditations, and much more. If you're interested in joining the retreat, please reach out to me. Find out more information at quantumcodesretreat.com. I am excited to have another facilitator from the retreat, Will Rabil. He is key master, energy healer, amazing visualization meditator, and a seer.
Thank you so much for the introduction there. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited to
Dive
have
in.
you here. And I start everyone off with my first question. Here we are ushering in this new consciousness, new energy to planet Earth. So, what excites you today? What excites you about where we are right now and where maybe we're going?
That's a really hard question sometimes. I think that I'm just going to go with what goes to mind is I think what excites me is the fact that, at least how I feel, is that there's so many people who are in this similar place that you can really just open up and share, just build community with others in this. I guess what I'm trying to say is the fear of being alone in this is no longer there. It never should have been there, but now it's amazing to share. It's amazing to do this stuff. It just feels so much more real. I feel so much more just like myself. And I feel there's nothing that can stop me. And that's what's exciting, is that it's just the freedom to do that. I feel so free to do that now. I just keep running into so many people. Oh my gosh, there's so many people who want to hear about this and want to talk about this. And I thought
Yeah,
I
they
was
don't
all
think
by
you're crazy
myself.
anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I love, is that there's so many
Yeah.
people who are following this, and it just builds the excitement. It just,
I know.
so
It's
good.
becoming the norm.
Yeah.
I'm excited about also like in the next few years to see how consciousness expands and more people will be curious about traveling the realms and understanding what's beyond what we can see. Because all of this is available. We need those bit of tuning into that extrasensory perception to realize there's beyond the veil. How did you start connecting and traveling to these different places?
I'll try and keep it brief. I feel like I've been on a spiritual journey my entire life, but I went down a whole new path after being very stagnant in marriage. After gained was really just trying to find answers and realize that I had a weak foundation in the faith that I had. And through that exploration, I was my parents were helping me through this, and they were telling me about this new stuff they were doing, because we grew up Christian, and there was this guy in England who was like doing Christianity mixed with spirituality and finding ways to do meditation. And if what he said is, rather than praying and saying, "Hey, God, come to me and down to earth and talk to me," he was saying, "You guys can go to God and talk to him. So he was actually teaching meditative practices to go get in meditation and leave your body, allow your spirit to drift to heaven and go and speak with angels and with God and other beings there. And through that experience, I started opening up to other people who were saying it's not just God there. It's not just heaven. That's the best way to say it. There's heaven isn't the only realm you can go into. There's many other realms. And through exploring that, I realized that my version of God was so much smaller than what I was learning was the truth for myself. And there's so much stuff to explore. I just explored more and grew and ran into more people who were just going way out there to many different realms. And I just expanded from there to where I am today and learning about light language, learning about astral traveling, and just there's just more. There's so many different
Yeah.
dimensions to go into.
For sure. I was just sharing with you before we got on the podcast that I'm actually writing that part of the chapter in my book, the works of also someone who's out in the field of OB or out of body experience. And he's been talking about these 12 realms that Earth is realm one with the center stage. And there's other realms. The galactic realm is realm two,
Mm,
halls of Amenti, realm three, what you were just saying about like heaven, it's another realm. It's
yeah,
realm five,
yeah,
angels, realm seven. You have Valhalla, Olympus, and realm possibly nine. There's like different specific even realms that he was identifying and sharing. I've had experiences on Earth where there are portals, I feel, to these realms,
hmm,
and also, beings have been coming to Earth from these realms in ancient times. Many experiences I've had, like in one of my first podcasts, I talked about these petrified dragons that I found in Iceland.
yeah.
Obviously, they were here. They were coming in, they were participating in this experience. A lot of that just got disconnected for us. But what's exciting for me is that we are starting to remember, and I think we're starting to reconnect to these realms. So, with that said, what makes you a key master? What is the room with a door?
It's this room that actually me and Kirsty came across this through our meditating in a soul sanctuary, and it's this room where there's like this pool of water, like a little pond or lake or fountain in the middle. Fountain's probably the best way to describe it. And it's just this circular room, and there's doors all along the walls. And every time I go on journey there, I'm going up to no door. It's like you might have seen like 10 doors the first time. You go again, you're like, hey, there's an 11th door. Hey, there's a 12th door. Hey, there's a 13th, and it just keeps growing. And it's just like every journey has a new door, and I always seem to have a key to these doors, and I don't know where the keys are coming from. That's where I didn't know at the beginning, and through this experience, I learned that I am a key master. I have the keys, the access to go to all these different realms, dimensions, places. And yeah, maybe there's 12 realms in this hierarchy, but there's also like stuff to the side as well. There's other places, there's planets. So it's not just, there's just so much there. And I think it was interesting is like, I came to this realization before I actually really paid attention to that. I don't remember which movie The Matrix it was, but the Keymaster is in like the second or third movie. And there's just keys everywhere. There's just everywhere. And he's like, I got a key for that. Or he'll create a key and be like, I'm going to create the key and go into this place. And that's what happens to me is that there's just the key's always there. I didn't know I had it until I've come into that place in my journeying and have been encountered by a door. And I'm so, okay, here's the key. Oh, this is what it looks like. And insert it and unlock it and walk in and experience whatever's there. And it's just, I don't know. I feel like every journey is just, it's always different. It's very rare that I go to the same place over and over.
And I know like you're very visual, so you actually immerse yourself into the place and to really remote view see the images that come into you.
Yeah, I'm actually at work. I've invited people to do yoga and then do meditation afterwards. And every session, we're just going to a new location and really diving in. And at the end, people are just like, whoa, what happened? How did we get back here? I fell asleep. Or I was just, I get so immersed in it. It's just awesome because it's all intuitively led. It just comes to me. And it feels so real. And I have to be careful because part of the time I feel like I just want to stay there. Coming back is always the hardest thing.
So do you feel like when you travel to these realms and places, you still consciously aware of your body here. So part of your consciousness is here, and part of your consciousness is actually just exploring as well.
That's actually a very good question. And the answer to that, the short answer is yes. I think part of the reason that I was able to do that was that the guy who introduced me to all of this journey, his like, the one thing he had you practice in the beginning was just practice imagining yourself, imagine your spirit lifting out and going up and then looking down at yourself. I'm not only able to remote view where I'm going, but I'm also able to look back at myself and see myself from other angles that I can see my back. I can see what my back looks like. Even though normally we wouldn't be able to look at our back without a mirror, I can still see what it looks like. And so he would say, go up there. Now I want you to take the energy from wherever you are and send it back to yourself. I learned from the beginning how to separate and then send energy back and then come back to the present and go back up. And that, he was like, just go, just practice that first before you go exploring other places. And yeah, it's really interesting being able to do
So
that.
would you say that's more astral traveling versus quantum traveling?
I never heard a term quantum traveling, so maybe I need to know a definition of that
Yeah,
before I can
yeah.
say yes or
I
no to
think
that.
I had Isabella Green on a podcast just a few episodes ago, and she wrote a book, what she calls Leaving the Trap, and the second book's called Beyond the Trap, How to Exit Incarnation Cycle, saying how the OB experience usually is astral. You're able to see yourself versus
Mm,
quantum is like you choose to go right into the void. So not to these realms directly. And from there, you start the experience. So it's a bit different type of exploration,
yeah,
which, I feel each has its valid experiences and things we can collect just for different purposes.
by that definition, then I would say it is astral traveling
Yeah.
is primarily what I'm doing. And it's really cool being able to do this so much that I can do this astral traveling while going on a run, sometimes while sitting in a meeting at work that wasn't very interesting, and just being able to like be present in both places at the same time. And even while driving,
It's almost like
don't do that.
daydream,
You're not
right?
supposed to do it while driving, but then they say people say that. But
That is
yeah,
that
it's
what
almost
we're
like daydreaming, and that's
Yeah.
yeah. Like
Yeah,
I
it is
realized
daydreaming. I think that's what the word came from. Daydreaming
yeah.
means like you going somewhere else while you also have an experience here.
In fact, I feel like I was doing it as a kid all the time, and people were just like, "What are you doing, Will?" And like, what's that saying? "Come back to Earth" or "Earth to Will." They would say stuff like that. And it's like, wait,
Yeah.
that's why they're saying it. That's why they're
Yes.
saying it because
And
you
I
really
think a
are
lot of
leaving.
starseeds have probably
Mhm.
experienced that, and those who are listening, they'll be like, "Yeah, that happened to me." So you have been astral traveling this whole time, you just didn't
Yeah.
know. 'Cause I've had this conversation with my kid the other day. I was, like,
Hmm.
trying to teach him about remote viewing,
Uh-huh.
and then he was like, "Oh, mom, I'm already doing this." Well, daydreaming. I do it in class all the time because
Yeah.
it's so boring, you know?
Have you ever talked to him about that? Or no, ever had a conversation of how to communicate with him when he's like that or not? Because Emma she's been doing that more and more. Like we'll be at the table eating, and all of a sudden she's just like, you're like Emma, and she's just like, you're
Where are
like, where
you?
are you? And she doesn't even. And then when she comes back, I ask her like, where are you? And she's, huh? What do you mean?
I think this younger generation, they're also more tapped in, but they
Mhm.
still learning
Yeah.
their way on Earth. And in many episodes, I've talked about how my kid is first timer, and it's interesting to observe his perception of this reality through his lenses, where he feels some places are very slow, and obviously go into game world because that's another kind of astral realm for him. He can jump
Yeah.
portals, he can do things there and recreate that in through experience of a game. This whole matrix is a game of consciousness, literally. So
Yeah.
they just gravitate towards that because they feel that's probably closest to where they are anyway. So as you've been traveling, tell us what kind of mystical creatures have you been meeting?
Many different things. I think that right now, presently, I'm encountering a lot of dragons and fairies.
Mm.
And I was actually asking the question, why have I not really gone to any other planets for a while? And the answer I got was because I'm working on becoming more grounded and connecting with Earth more. And fairies and dragons, while they're in other places, they're also they're just very connected to Earth around here. But I've also done a lot of communication with elementals. In fact, it's not just in meditation. Like literally, I've had so many conversations. I can't even tell you how many times I've talked to the wind elementals and talked to them about weather and being like, "Oh, I'm going on this trip there. I see that the weather doesn't look that bad." And I don't go and say, "Hey, can you guys just not do anything at all?" I talk to them and I say, "Hey, do you think that you can possibly create a window of space where the weather is nice, where there's no rain, during this period and this period?" And so many times I was like, "Yeah, sure, we can do that," and it works out, and it's wonderful. We have the authority to talk to these beings, and they're willing to work with us. Then there's also alien beings like the Arcturians, Lyrans, Lemurians, talk to dolphins, and fish people, for lack of a better way to explain them, mermaids.
Yeah,
Those are
tell us
some of
about
them.
the mermaids because I'm coming up. And yeah, I think our next podcast is going to be with Kirsty Lauren, who's
Yeah.
our third facilitator mermaid.
Yes, she's definitely
And since we've been talking, she's been taking me to Mintaga and her
hmm
mermaid collective. But curious for you to explain a little more about them. Yeah.
It's more been an encounter of them really being guides to and from Lemuria for me. In particular, there's one place that I go into. Actually, this is probably one of the places I frequent a lot because there's so much there. It's called the Lemurian Library, and it's like a lot of the. It's like a Warehouse 13. If anyone's ever watched that TV show, or like Area 51, where there's just all of these mystical collectible items all over at this library. And the mermaids, I always just meet with them and they take me there and they just drop me off. We don't really do much else with that. Unfortunately, there's not much more that I really encounter with them, but they have given me gifts before to enable to help with these journeys. They give me this pearl that I use as a key to unlock this portal that takes me from like this beach to Lemuria. They've also given me like scales and necklaces to wear so that I can breathe underwater or to even transform into a mermaid for the time being. And that's been really cool. In fact, there was actually one journey where I just hung out with a bunch of them and we were just making little things out of pearls like necklaces and jewelry. I have this meditation on my YouTube channel. You
Oh,
listen to it. It's
beautiful.
really cool.
And what are the Lemurian frequencies like? Like what you said, they take you to Lemuria.
In Lemuria, there's a lot of stuff around knowledge, collecting knowledge there. And you can go and you can read books. You can find collectible treasures. There's one treasure the other day where it was like this vase and just dumping water, which is funny, you're underwater dumping water on yourself. That was cleansing you. There's this mirror I've received from there, which is actually, it's like a hand mirror that has a portal. And you just think about anything that you need or want, some sort of tool or trinket or whatever for your purpose. You stick your hand in the mirror and you'll actually be accessing the library of Lemuria and pull it out from there. It's things like that, and it's just
It's almost sounds like a liminal space, this
mhm,
library that connects you to that civilization, that those like more advanced 5D frequencies
mhm.
of that time.
Yeah. There's a lot of also Atlantean stuff there as well, and just other like lost knowledge. And they even have these creatures. I can't remember the names, but they're like little foxes that will like they guide you around, and they like to collect information and whatnot. There.
Do you think those memories are surfacing up, or those connections to the Lemurian library surfacing up because you have been part of Lemurian Atlantean civilization, and so it's like a path back?
Oh, definitely. There's definitely been some journeys where we found some connections in there. There was one journey that me and Kirsty did with a friend of hers, Natalie, and we did some cleaning up from some sort of past catastrophe that happened when Atlantis fell that we had to go and clean up. And I think we were somewhere around. I want to say it was somewhere around either is. It's one of the two. It's either it was somewhere around Australia or Hawaii, but there's so many different touch points of where the Atlantean civilization was in the world. So you can't just say Plato's lost dialogue, or he say Plato's dialogue says it was in this area, but it's, yeah, it was, but it's a massive civilization. It was all over the globe.
Yeah.
So there's so many different touch points for it that have been lost. And Lemuria has a lot of information about that there that you can reconnect with. And the reason we were
Lemuria was
drawn to
more like in the Pacific Ocean, and I think Atlantis was more in
yeah,
the Atlantic.
yeah,
And obviously, it's spread out, not just
yeah,
on the islands, but more than that. I think they were incredible civilizations, and I think some of us were either Atlanteans or had incarnations in
mhm,
Lemuria as well. It's where a lot of us have started, at least like the Indigo Collective, like those of us who are, Dolores said, Canon says, like there were waves of volunteers. I would say we like possibly like the second wave, and then maybe the third wave are these new children,
mhm,
crystalline children. So a lot of us still, the OGs are carrying all the memories, right?
yeah,
We are here in
yeah,
some ways. I wouldn't say rebuilding Atlantis and Lemuria, but we definitely bringing back that
yes,
ancient knowledge
yeah,
and building a new time trajectory to incorporate the vibrational healing, the frequency healing into our life, being connected to the realms, to the galactics. And part of that is also activating your light language, your blueprint, and pure soul expression. And I know you also paint beautifully some of your journeys and light language. Tell us more about that. And I would love you to also bring forth a channeling meditation for us.
sure. So I took the same class that you did. I know we had this conversation from Izzy Ivy.
Easy Ivy, and Easy
Yeah.
Ivy has been on this
Oh, she
podcast.
has?
Yes,
Awesome. That's
she
so cool.
has.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. But just taking her artwork, and I really love what she really teaches you is to just allow yourself to just trust and allow for that to come out. And it's really allowed me to really express a lot of what I see, a lot of what I feel into the artwork. And I'm trying to figure out my little niche. I don't know how to say that word. So many different, it's like one of those funny words. My niche in painting that way, but also my way, and compressing my artistic style on that. And I haven't shown you these. I have these really cool dragon eye paintings where it just looks like the eye just looks like a portal. And it's just looking at you and you're just like, whoa. And it just, you feel like you want to jump into it. And I'm also been doing some paintings where it's just painting. I really just get sent this image of this light code and just painting that light code as the center of focus of these paintings. And I got the idea seeing some of the stuff that Izzy Avi was doing. And I was just like, oh, dude, what is that? And I was like, do I need to do stuff like this? But a lot of it's just, I'm just doing my regular thing in the day. And all of a sudden, they're like, this is what you need to paint. These are the colors you need to do. This is a symbol you need to do. This is what it's going to look like. And I'm just like, okay, sure, fine. And it just comes out little by little as I paint them. And it's so wonderful. And it just, it feels good to use my artistic talent in a way that makes me feel good, because using that in the corporate world has just almost killed my artistic desire.
Also, bringing frequencies through, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like channeling light language
And now,
on piece of art.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we have the paintings all over the house now, so it's just like the house feels amazing.
Activating the space. Yeah, that's why I
Yeah.
have it in this room, and but we
Yeah.
have a bunch of other things. And if not painting, I have a lot of my
Mhm.
photography as
Yeah.
well,
Oh, awesome.
from different sunrises at Bell Rock or Burning Man, like magical, I call them time standstill moments, where
Yeah.
I was able to capture the moment and the frequency
Mhm.
of the moment. That was so powerful. Sometimes I have to take them down because they create their own portal. It's because it brings you back into that moment, and it might be a
Yeah.
little too much to try to do
Mhm.
productive things because it just creates, yeah, another portal. It's a beautiful expression of art. I think is the way we can bring frequencies into the now too, like tangibly.
I'm currently looking into a way to get photos of these paintings so that I can create prints so that people can get some of these for themselves and they can share them out, because I love them so much. I don't want to give it away because I want to keep it. So finding a way so that I can share that um, is just
Yeah,
amazing. So I'm
that's
looking forward to getting that process
that's a
up and
great
running.
idea to do that for sure.
Yeah.
Amazing. That would be great to get a transmission from you. And for those tuning in, just find a quiet space, preferably not while you're driving, so you can close your eyes and tune in to what Will is bringing through.
When it's time to stand up, it's time to stand up. Stop hiding in the corner. Stop hiding from the world. Allow yourself to stand in the highest potential that you have, into your highest good, your highest frequency, your highest position of love of yourself. You want to put a purple gem, an amethyst gem on your third eye. Want to empower that, empower that, empower that. Allow that expansion in your third eye to expand, allowing you to see, allowing you to hear, allowing you to feel that. Stand up and receive this. Stand up and project this out to the world. It is time to shine. It is time for you to step into your highest power. You have so much sovereignty. So much sovereignty. Don't be afraid to shine this. Do not hide that light. Do not hide that light within yourself. Allow it to burn bright. Burn bright. Burn bright as the sun in the sky. You are here on earth. You are here on earth to step into your greatest potential. You are here to step into your greatest potential. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Putting love into your heart. Love into your heart to instill confidence and joy so that you have the empowerment to stand up. Putting strength into your legs, allowing you to stand. Stand up tall. Stand up confident. You are wonderful. You are amazing. You are love.
Beautiful. Is that Arcturian? The language that usually comes through for you?
This kind of just came out. I didn't even ask who it was. Yes, that was Arcturian. Yeah, coming straight from Arcturus. Through here. That's where that was coming from.
Yeah, Arcturians are very involved. I feel especially like in technology and frequency and vibration, just like Lyrans and some other galactics. But I feel I've been having more and more Arcturian experience recently with the ships and yeah, it's interesting. They're starting to get more involved. At least that's my perception.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And getting a lot of messages from them. They're basically the main star race that interacts with me, if it's not from the dragons or the fairies. In fact, one of my past lives was an Arcturian. His name was Traveler, and he just loved to travel everywhere. And then he decided, okay, I'm ready to. Oh no, it was because he traveled to Earth at one point. It's like these humans are really fascinating. So I think the next time, my next life, I want to be here on Earth. And so that's how my earthbound life cycle started through that decision. I actually frequently communication with him. He's now just, it's really weird. Our guides can be our past selves, which I think is really amazing. So
It's almost like they are a parallel selves. Because again, time is not linear as we think it is.
Yeah.
Because I have the same experience with my Andromedan self
It's cool.
and my Lyran self. And so my Andromedan self is kind of new, and she's like an ambassador, and she's done a lot of work across the galaxy as well, missionary work. And it's really cool because it feels very real in the moment. Like when you interact with her, is like whatever's happening on ship, you feel it's happening right now. So I always question, I'm like, is she my future self? Is she my past self? Is this all happening in this moment? Because I can see like the ship is,
Yeah.
they sleeping right now. Did this already happen? Or is this happening simultaneously as I am here? Because it feels like it is, but yet I know where they're going already. It can be confusing, right? It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
our brain is just trying to comprehend who we are as involved beings, evolved in different aspects of ourselves that also we all connected to.
It's a beautiful picture. I love how you painted that. I think that what's wonderful also is like growing up, we're taught we need to find the answers for everything. It doesn't matter if it's happening present, past, or future, or whatever. It's all, we don't have to have the exact answer for that. And that's what's beautiful about it. It's more beautiful just to acknowledge that it's happening and letting it happen and just embracing that and living in that. So I love that.
It's about embracing the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I visualize it as like layers of a cake, and then you can slice a cake.
Yeah.
And so all the layers are right there. All the
Yeah.
realms are right there too,
Yeah.
right? All the dimensions are right there. Therefore, as infinite creators, we have access to all of it, and we create it in real time as well, with co-created together with our other aspects of selves. To embrace that and to step into that realization of self, that's wholeness.
Mm.
That's realizing our infinite potential.
Just as you're saying it, I'm just like, yeah, you can literally, instead of just looking at the whole cake and all the layers, you can take and eat the entire thing at once.
Completely.
You don't have to take bites a little, but you can
Yeah.
also have the whole thing.
Arcturians, from my experiences with them, are like architects and
Yes.
blueprinters.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they really understand this creation process.
Yeah. Have you ever gone to any of their ships?
My first experience on Arcturian ship was recently, actually, when we were the Galactic cruise with Christy, and it was a small ship. We were just doing C5 with a big group. It wasn't working, but then I did this short one with few guys. It was just myself and
Yeah.
5 other guys, so we were just like playing with it. And then I tapped into the ships,
Uh-huh.
and it was very small. It was only 5
Mhm.
Arcturians. They showed me like this crystalline bed and the specific device they wanted to show me, which had to do with sound healing, but also for medical purposes. Yeah, it was very direct and
That's
very
so cool.
very technical.
Yeah.
And so I had this experience, and I was on it for a bit, and the other guys did not connect to it as much. But I was like, okay, I had this experience because it's very visual. And Kirsty actually was in the hot tub when I talked to her. She's, oh yeah, she's like, I connected to the ship. I knew they were there too, like at the same time. Like she had
That's
that
so cool.
knowingness too. So that was my only real experience with them on the ship. But I have had experiences through doing client work, specifically the quantum healing hypnosis,
Mhm.
where the person is going into their Arcturian lives, and then, yeah, various ships and various experiences as ambassadors across the galaxy, because they basically live on the ships, and
Yeah. Yeah.
then they interact with different civilizations. And that's, I feel, a key objective, is to be the ambassadors of peace.
Yeah, that makes sense. I loved hearing your experience about going on the ship and going on the crystalline bed and them doing like sound healing, because that's every time I go on a ship, it's a very similar experience. So I'm laying in some sort of bed and they're doing some sort of energy work or healing or something on me or the people that I'm bringing. They're all together. It's just they just love to share their technology with us and use that to offer healing. That's a great way for them to be those ambassadors. They're just so wonderful. I love those experiences. And I just love the fact that you're having a similar experience like that on their ship.
Yeah, yeah, that was unexpected. These experiences happen real time. It's just like a daydream in the moment. And if you choose to have that experience, it will happen to you. In the last couple of episodes with York Wing, he's channels the Sasani Collective, and that's the ship
Yeah.
that's over Bellrock.
Hmm.
So bringing it back to exciting retreat that's going to happen mid-April, the connection to the ships is always fascinating for me because
Yeah.
they're available to go on and have an experience. And it does feel like a daydream in some way, where your eyes are open and you're still on the ship. It's like a bifurcation of consciousness, almost like you're having these two experiences simultaneously.
Yeah. And their ships are so interesting when you go on to them. Our turns are, and I know I also went to the Bashar ship, and I can't wait to see what kind of experiences we're going to have with that, being able to share more of that on Bell Rock. Either them coming to us down in Sedona or whether we're going up the ship, we don't really know. But I feel like it's
Most
just going to be
likely, we're
awesome.
going up.
Yeah, because didn't you say that they were like they were inviting us to go up there?
They are.
Yeah,
That's why
no,
you're
it's
able to connect already.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe share a little bit, because everyone got to maybe
Oh yeah,
hear my experience, but share your experience on the ship. Yeah.
yeah. So I remember there being a room where we lay down on these beds of gold, and they were really. It was funny. You look at it, you're like, gold. You know how you lie on that bed? It looks very uncomfortable, but you lie down on it, and then your body just sunk into it like memory foam, and you're like, this is really cool. This is very interesting gold that we're lying on. And what's wonderful about gold is it's like all metals. It's really big about absorbing energy and transferring energy, and gold has a huge has a really strong ability to do that. So knowing that you're laying on a gold bed is just, oh man, this is like the best of the best. And they were doing some energy healing on me and that. And the other room that I remember, and I think there was a third, but I can't remember what that one is. But the other one was the astral room. I can't, I'm fumbling over the word. You're basically going into, it's not aquarium. What's the other word for aquarium? Stars.
It's like a planetarium type
Thank
of.
you. That's the word I'm looking for. It's like
Yeah,
a
and
planetarium.
yeah.
But instead of like the stars being white, everything was like a purple glow or bluish glow. It was really cool. And you would look up to the stars and you can look at different astrology signs and understand your sign and understand why it's that way. And it was just really cool to just learn about the universe from an astrological perspective in that room. I really enjoyed that because like you could move your hand and it would shift it around, like you're when you're watching Iron Man uses technology in Avengers, and you're just like, just shift. Okay, let's go over here. Let's pinch and zoom into this galaxy right here and see the stars, and it's really cool. It's a wonderful place. It was just like a little playground. I had so much fun there.
And I think ultimately, I think all these experiences about having fun and
Mm-hmm.
letting imagination room. And when you ask yourself, like, why do I need those experiences? Why do I need to come to Sedona and be in the vortex?
Mm-hmm.
And I say, why not? We are here to explore our potential. We're
Mm-hmm.
here to really learn who we are. And through experiences, it becomes real. I
Yeah.
think a lot of it, you can listen to us and be like, wow, this sounds like mystical and not something I would experience, but it's not true. I really feel it's available for everyone. If I look through several decades of my own spiritual journey, every time I told myself, oh, this is not going to happen to me. Oh, that's not me. I always knew that was my ego flaring up and it's trying to control me and it's trying to block me from having the true experience I can have. And the experience always happened. It was like it had to surrender, it had to
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
learn through the magic of it all. And if you hear any of that chatter in the back of your mind, like just now, it's just your ego that's just trying to preserve you. What we're talking about is beyond the human experience. But at the same time, I feel we are learning how to embody these experiences here now. So they are part of us accessing these realms that we once had access to before. And in those times of Lemur Atlantis, when we had all the access and we were masters of frequencies and technologies. And I think we, in that point in time, when we were remembering and expanding and collecting from the aspects of ourselves how to be that today, how to be healthy, how to be happy, how to have full self love, and all the abundance that is available for us. And so going to these vortexes just supports the energy that sometimes you have to step away from your default world, from your corporate job, from whatever you're doing, and be surrounded by nature and by vortexes that remind you how to be back to your original love and self. So we welcome you to join us. You can find more information at quantumcodesretreat.com. And you can reach out to me for more questions. And Will, where can someone find information about you?
So there's several locations. The most prevalent locations would be on Instagram and then also YouTube. Both the same handle. It's a fun little handle, but it's Find Your Peace. That's FIND underscore UR underscore peace, as in puzzle piece. So if I can spell this right, PIECE. So you can find me both on Instagram and YouTube under that handle.
And your website
Oh
is.
yes, I do have a website.
You do.
My
That's
website
beautiful.
is Will Rabil. So that's WILRABIL.com. So you can find me.
Beautiful. And we'll put that in description below as well. So if you want to check out Will's art or just connect to his meditations and see what he's doing, you can always definitely follow him and highly recommend. Beautiful. Thank you, brother, for
Welcome, no problem.
sharing and having this conversation. And I'm excited for what we get to co-create soon in April. And yeah, it's going to be magic.
You're welcome, and thank you so much for being on here. And yes, I am so excited for April. It's going to be magical. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode. You can visit my website, dianadivine.com, where I'm now offering a special Quantum Master Creator free ebook that will help you to create the conscious dimensional life that you want. I'm also offering other programs, one-on-one sessions such as Quantum Healing Hypnosis and Quantum Crystalline Soul Healing to help you in your vibrational alignment. On sourcelanguage.org, I'm offering a digitized course that is self-paced to open you to the divine gift of light language. I'm Diana Divine, and keep connecting with your higher self.